This is Keeping Up the Conversation, an unscripted podcast. And now, here's your hosts, Tori and Big Ken. Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.
Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Keeping Up the Conversation. I'm your host, Miss Tori, and this is my super duper co-host, Big Ken. What's going on?
What's up?
What's up? We're back. You've been gone away from me for a whole week, and I know it was hard for you to survive, but you did it.
Yeah, it was weird. Last week was a weird week, and we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
it
If you're in
was.
Texas, it was a crazy week for Texas.
It was a crazy week, and everything was a total surprise and a shock to a lot of people because you hear snowstorms and stuff, but we'll talk about that anyway. So, what have you been up to? What's
Just
going
been
on?
reading. I've been back on my reading. When you get busy and you have a job where you read a lot as it is, like you kind of get bogged down with reading, but during the little snow break, I had some extra time. So I said, well, let me start back reading. And I brought my two books with me into the studio today. See, this book, The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health by Rita Walker. And I'm also reading Dream Big by Kathy Takoro, which was an actual
Yeah,
guest on KUTC Live. Amazing books. If you have access to these books on your Kindle, or you can order them on Amazon or whatever the case may be, they're great additions to your book collection. But I'm the type of guy I like to have the physical copy.
yeah.
So these bode well for me because when I talked to Kathy and she said she was sending a physical copy, I was like, that's amazing. And it's
I
signed.
know. Yeah, I
Signed
know.
copy.
So we got our books, and so you guys, if you haven't, if you watched the show, it was week before last. It was a week before last? No,
No,
like a couple weeks ago.
it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she was Kathy was on the show, and she has the big, was it 400-ton truck that she drives in Canada.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
yeah, so yeah, your mental health book. Mental health it's a big thing, but people are paying more attention to it now. Especially in the African American community.
Yeah.
And I think that is, I have not read that book, but it has to be a good read. I think that anytime you can get informed about something that's affecting your community,
Yeah.
um, that's a plus. That's important.
Especially something
So
that hasn't been talked about or that's kind of taboo. Because
yeah,
in the black community, a lot of times when you talk about mental health, the first thing a lot of people think is you crazy.
yeah,
And it's not about being crazy. It's about, what I'm saying, keeping yourself mentally healthy. Just like you work out,
yeah,
what I'm saying, you need to watch the things you eat, your diet and things of that nature. You need to watch
yeah,
your mental diet as well. The things that you intake, the things that you read on social media, the things that you see on TV. All of that is feeding your mental. So, you have to
yeah,
worry about, your mental as well. And a lot of us have experienced a lot of traumatic things and we walk
yeah,
around with a lot of baggage and we don't get rid of it. It weighs us down. You have things like depression and all kinds of other things that can come into play. But this book kind of helps you navigate some things and confirm some things that you may have already known and reveal
mhm,
some things that you probably had no clue of. So,
yeah.
it'll help you deal with things and it'll help others deal with their mental health issues as well.
Oh yeah, I know. I think that a lot of people have to, first you have to understand what mental health is, and like you said, a lot of people think it's just, duh, you're crazy, and it's not what it is at all. There's a lot of underlying factors, and that go into mental health. So,
Yep.
thank you, Big Ken, for bringing that up. And me, I have, been busy. I'm
Yeah.
always I'm always busy, but like you, I love to take time to time to read, and one of the things that I like to do is just when I can pull myself away from business and just read. It kind of it just it's relaxing,
Yeah.
even. And there are times that I read and I actually don't remember what I just read, but the whole point of me doing that, it's crazy because the whole point of me doing that is to relax. So I'm not so much as focused on the things that are the words that are on the page, but just more so getting my mind to focus that I have a book in my hand and I'm trying to read and to get away from that thing that I want to go. I'm always in front of the computer, I'm always coding or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I need to kind of walk away from that sometime, because you can definitely get a headache doing that. And speaking of which, I know that you and I had talked earlier. I had sent you a couple of emails. My app, City Joe, launches in June. And City Joe, it's a cross platform crowdsourced news app where basically anyone with a cell phone can capture the news. And what you do is you capture the news, you send it to us, we vet it, we make sure it's real, we send it to the news media. If they like it, they'll put it on air, or they may even keep it for later use, and they'll pay you for that. So it's basically anyone with a cell phone capturing the news. City Joe is, of course, kind of short for citizen journalist. So you become a citizen journalist with your cell phone. And I had been working on this for 2 years, and just kind of doing a lot of research, and just me being a journalist, want to make sure that I do it right. And it's so funny because I started doing this, and now, thank goodness, I now have a business partner, and he does like coding just like me, but he does it on a major scale, on a
Mm.
major scale. Yeah. So our goal is to get the app launched in June, and we're working on getting some interviews with some newsrooms to make sure we push it out there, to the community. And I think that one of the things that I want to do is just kind of bridge the gap between the newsrooms and the community, because sometimes the community loses that trust in the news or in the newsroom, because they don't tell the story right, for one, or they don't even come into the community to see what's going on in the community. And
Yeah.
so, I kind of want to I definitely want, one of my main goals is for us to be the blueprint for just demonstrating how citizen journalists and newsrooms can come together and can collaborate on news locally and from around the world.
Yeah, I mean
So
that's
yeah.
that's an awesome thing that you're involved in, and as you talked about it as you were building it, I was like, wow, people don't understand the opportunities that there are out there for them to
Hmm.
pursue a passion, even if they can't find a job in it in a professional sense. You can do
Hmm.
something like City Joe, and you can still have some experiences in the journalism field, and kind of get your feet wet, and
Yeah.
make some pocket change in the process. So, I mean,
Yep.
that's
And
that's a great deal.
yeah, news happens every second, and every second someone with the cell phone is capturing the news. So if you're going to do that, you might as well get paid for it.
Yeah, that's a
So,
fact.
um, but the thing is, so I couldn't work on this for 3 days because of this snowstorm, and you in Dallas, all nice and warm and cozy. So I'm totally kidding, because I know you kept in contact with us to make sure that we were
Hey, I
okay.
just want to say, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't try to make me feel guilty because I had electricity, and because I've been there before, so I get it. Don't do that.
I know, so I couldn't work on it, but there's a lot of things that I learned in this Texas snowstorm. The snowstorm was awful, and I want to talk about the snowstorm for a second. Can we talk about the Texas snowstorm for a
Yeah.
minute, and just how awful it was? It sucked. I mean, we haven't had this kind of snow in Texas like for 30 years. Yes, there was snow in Texas. And let me tell you what I learned, Big Ken. Okay, so I learned that I now learn why I don't like the cold, because it's cold, you know. And but I also learned some things from people, and like some tips. So I was without electricity for 3.5 days. And
Mm.
then after that, the electricity was kind of intermittent. It would come on and off. And then after that, we were without water for, I think it was almost 3 days. And so as soon as we get the electricity kind of going, we lose the water. And so, I'm not a big cook. My husband does mostly all the cooking. Well, he was trying to, get the snow from around the truck and all this stuff. And so he had, we had the fireplace lit. Thank God we had a fireplace. So we had the fireplace lit. So I'm thinking in the fireplace, I'm gonna make some breakfast.
Yeah.
And so the fire is going, and so and it's not it's warm, but it's still kind of cold in the house. And
Yeah.
so I take some waffles and I put them inside some foil. And then
Waffles
I've
in
taken
foil?
look what this is. Look, let me tell you, okay? I'm trying to survive. So I take some waffles and I wrap them in the foil, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put them in the fireplace. I'm gonna put them in the fireplace just for a second. And so my husband had the grill outside, but I'm like, I don't know how to barbecue. I already know I'm not gonna even do that. Everything will be burnt down. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so I wrap it in foil, put them in the fireplace, and I'm like, okay, this is not so bad. I did not know that foil. Okay, yeah, educated or not, there's some things I didn't know.
This is going to
No,
be
that
interesting.
I did not know that foil will burn. And so
Wow.
here I am, my 10-year-old is looking forward to his waffles. And so I'm like, oh, and he was like, Mommy, I think you should take it out now. I was like, you think? So the foil, the sides of it caught on fire. So I'm like, so I'm blowing it out. And then I'm trying to like open it. You know how remember back in the day you have the Jiffy popcorn,
Yes.
so I'm trying to open it like that. Well, and then while I was doing that, one of the waffles fell out, and I said, "Okay, I'll have that one. I'll eat that one." And it was like so crispy, and so finally I'm able to get it out. I go in the kitchen, and I was like, "Hey, you go get some waffles." And so my son is like, "Oh, he's like, Mommy, they're burned." I was like, "But if you break it, it's still waffle on the inside." And
Trying to sell that man a dream.
so he
Poor
takes a
baby.
bite. He takes a bite of it. He goes, "Mommy, it tastes like fireplace smoke." So,
Scarred the
you
young man
know,
for life.
but hey, that was one of my little cooking things. But then of course my husband came and like the chef that he is, he took the iron, the iron cast skillet, and he did his thing outside, and then he came in, and what he did was in the fireplace he put tortillas, and we had quesadillas. Well,
Mm.
I had the veggie quesadillas, but they had like the quesadillas, and it was really good. But one of the tips that I learned, I didn't do this, but one of the tips that I learned, well, two tips that someone said. One is that you can put saran wrap around a bowl or your plates, and you can put your food on top of it, and you can eat from there. And then when you're done, you just take the saran wrap, and you put it in the trash. And I didn't know that. I was like, oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea. But here's one, Big Ken, that I cannot imagine you doing this, but it's a tip that people use. They said that you can use a kitty litter box, and that's where you go potty. Yeah, so it's like it's clumps, and you just move it out of the way.
I mean, drastic times call for drastic measures. So,
So,
yeah,
hey,
that's hey. If the
I
cat can
don't
go,
know if I could.
if the cat can go in it,
I
you
don't
could
know.
go in it. I mean,
You
hey,
know, and you have to think of it like this. So when you go to the potty anyway, when you go take a poop in the potty, you have to squat. Well, if you just squat down a little bit lower, you could be in the kitty litter box.
yeah, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting, as we call, a life hack. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
that's
life hack. Hopefully I will never be that desperate while I have to do that. So,
I
yeah.
know. I hope that I don't, I don't have to do that either. But it was a tip, and the other thing is that our we have like this mattress, and it's like this pillow top mattress, and of course, we sleep on it's really soft. Well, we had all the doors in the house closed. Well, I opened the door, and I was waiting on the bed, and the mattress, I kid you not, Big Ken, the mattress was frozen. And so I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, so I called my husband, and I was like, what did you do to the mattress? And he said, what do you mean, what did I do? I was like, why is it so hard? Did you do something? And he goes, no, it's frozen.
That's the first time I've ever heard of a
I had
frozen
never,
mattress.
I had never heard of that. And I don't know if it's something inside this mattress,
Hmm.
the gel or whatever it is, but it was frozen
Oh
solid.
yeah, if y'all got that's rich people talk. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got all that going on in your pillow top, you got gel and all this
Yes,
stuff.
it was.
Yeah, it might do that, but I've never
It
heard
was,
of that
yes.
before, and I never even
Yes,
thought of that. And the fact that it could do that in your house just lets you know how
yes.
freaking cold it
It
was.
was cold. At one point, it was 6 degrees outside, and it was 9 degrees in the house. And
That's
so,
wild.
yeah, and so what we ended up having to do is that we had to cover all of the windows and get in one room. And of course, it was a room by the fireplace. So we covered all the windows, and then we had, of course, you know, as a journalist or a media person, we have tons of green screens, and and I had the material ones, and so we covered the entire area. And we stayed in that area, and so it was really warm, and so we had the fire kind of, the fireplace, the heat from the fireplace coming in. So that's what we had to do. We had to cover for 3 days. We lived in the living room.
I heard some interesting stories, on Facebook. You scroll up and down your timeline on IG, saw a lot of pictures, and I mean, one thing is evident. Even though we knew the weather was coming, they had been talking about this storm coming for quite some time,
Right.
and at least a couple of weeks before the storm actually hit, but it just lets you know how unprepared Texas is for this type of extreme weather
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Well, wow, y'all can't drive in the snow," well, up north we do this and up north we do that, but I'm like, up
Yeah.
north, that's your way of
That's
life.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
I saw I
Exactly.
saw a news alert. I think in Maine or somewhere where they was like, it's a heat advisory because it was 90 degrees. I'm like, like I'm like
What?
I'm like we might have a heat advisory for
I
90 degrees,
know.
but that's regular. Like so,
That's just
the
regular stuff
extremes are
for us.
different,
Yeah.
but it's hard to adjust to it when you're not, when you don't have that type of weather because it went years and years in Texas without snowing.
Yeah.
So, we just
Yeah.
don't have the infrastructure to really, mitigate that problem. But it was crazy how it
It
went from one
was.
week, it was 60, 70 degrees, and then next thing you know, it's like five.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And I'm thankful that anytime it gets a little cold, I'm so glad that I'm just so anal about stuff. I'm like, oh, go get this, go get that, go get firewood, make sure we have food. And I'm so glad that we did that. But a lot of people weren't as fortunate as we were or as other people.
yeah.
Um, I'm thankful, and I'm glad that there was a lot of people that did step up to help others that were in need. We couldn't get out of our house, and at one point our truck was actually stuck at the store because it couldn't make it up the hill to get to the house. And so
Wow.
it kept sliding back down. And so we just left it at a 7-Eleven, and then at the 7-Eleven we tried to back it out, and it kept sliding. So it was so much snow, we just left it where it was.
Wow. And I mean,
And yeah, yeah,
it was very dangerous for people who had to drive, and there were a lot of people who
yeah,
were stating that they still had to go to work, so they had to
yeah,
make that trek to wherever they work at from their house, so they
yeah.
had to shovel snow. It was really really an eye-opening experience for I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
Of course, the kids don't know any better. All they see is
They
snow, and they're
don't.
glad because they're
Yeah.
out of school, and
Yeah. And
it's
my son thought we
fun.
were having a big old picnic. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was that. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to experience that again, but I'm thank and now here we are in Texas, and today I think it was 80 degrees. So
that's crazy.
it's so that but that's Texas, we don't know what we want to do.
Yeah, bipolar weather, literally.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, in case you guys didn't know, we don't have a guest today. And that is because last week, because of the weather, we were supposed to have a guest, but that's kind of been pushed. And so we are bringing to you guys some of the hot topics that were going on while all this snowstorm and while we were off air. And one of the things that that was going on is Tessica Brown. I don't know if you guys remember her. She has been all over social media and the news, and she is the one who put Gorilla Glue in her hair. So she used a heavy duty Gorilla Glue adhesive spray on her hair because she ran out of hairspray. How did she manage to use Gorilla Glue? Well, she explained this on TMZ.
When I was looking for something else, I ran past my refrigerator and it was sitting right there. No, I'm like, I could use this. And when I come home, I just wash it out. I didn't think it was going to be like this. I didn't think for 1 second it was going to be like this.
Right.
This has been really, really, it's been really, really devastating to her. And what's funny but not funny is that Saturday Night Live did a skit about it, and I did not want to laugh, but it's Saturday Night Live. And if you get a chance to watch the entire TMZ video or interview, you'll see that this devastated her. She has stopped eating. She lost like 13 pounds. She said that her phone was ringing and ringing and ringing. The kids were making fun of her 8-year-old daughter at school. I mean, come on, can you imagine your scalp being so tight for a month? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
For a
I'm
month.
bald, so I mean, my
I'm
scalp is
just
tight all
saying.
the time. I'm just saying, but I'm laughing because the first thing I thought about was there is a product for women called Gorilla something. Like it's not Gorilla
Is
Glue, but
it?
it's Gorilla something. Yes, it's in the stores and it's like a gel that I've seen that I guess women slick their hair down with or whatever. And I thought maybe she just mistaked it for that, but what it sounds like is she was just in a hurry. She
Yeah.
wasn't thinking and she just grabbed it. And I'm like, why in the world? Gorilla Glue is the truth, right?
Yeah, that's
Because if you've ever used
man.
Gorilla Glue of
I
any sort
have.
on
Yeah.
anything, it works, Jack. So when you put it on something, if you put it on something, it's stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah, it is. It's going to work, and it was. Yeah, she was stuck. She was glued. She was laid down. Her hair was tight. But of course, in all seriousness, it caused her a lot of health issues. She said her scalp was itching. She couldn't sleep. She was taking medicine. She had anxiety to help her sleep. There was even one time where her phone was ringing so much that she threw it across the room. And but luckily her daughter had answered the phone one time when someone was calling, and it was a doctor out of Beverly Hills, Dr. Michael
Yeah.
Obing, and he wanted to help her. He's a plastic surgeon, and he wanted to help get the glue out of her hair. So what he did was he was also a chemist. So he took the ingredients from the Gorilla Glue, and he put his own ingredient with it to help loosen up the Gorilla Glue in her hair,
Yeah.
in what's her name, Hessica, in
Tessica.
Tessica's hair, and Tessica. So she flew down to his office in LA, and they ended up getting it all out. It was a 4-hour process. And she said that she was so thankful, for him.
Yeah.
He was a godsend. And
And he did it
but
for free.
man, that He did it for free, and
Yeah.
the thing is that he did it for free. But then you always have those people. Oh, I got to put gorilla glue in my hair to get famous. No, you don't. She wasn't trying to get famous. She was going on a date at the lake, and trying to slick her hair down so that she wouldn't have any wild hair.
I
And
guess.
she put glue in. Yeah, she put.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't. Okay,
it
look. Okay, so
still
a lot of
sounds
no, no,
crazy.
seriously. So no, but people do stuff like that. I've seen it where people have picked up hemorrhoid cream on the counter thinking it was the toothpaste. So people do, because sometimes packaging looks alike. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you a funny story though.
People do stuff.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I was
Okay.
younger, I don't know if you remember, Icy Hot used to come in a package that looked like deodorant. Like they had the roll on. They had the
Oh,
roll
I
on
remember.
Icy Hot.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Icy Hot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I wasn't paying attention, so I just grabbed. I think I was maybe like 11, 10. I was at my grandparents' house, and I wasn't paying attention. I just pat, what I'm saying, on my arms, getting ready to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took about 30 seconds, and
Oh
I was
my
walking down the
God.
hallway, and my armpits were on fire.
Wait,
So
hold on. Stuff's not right.
that's the only thing I can kind of, what I'm saying, sympathize with her on, but it's like Gorilla Glue. I don't know.
I
That's
mean,
wild.
I see. I have to see the. I have to. No, I have to see the other product that looks like the Gorilla Glue because I mean, and here's the other thing. Don't you know? Well, don't you know the products that are in your house? Like, I'm not gonna walk in the kitchen and spray some
That's what I'm
grease
saying.
and
Like
cooking
it
oil in
that
my hair.
that
You
doesn't
know?
make sense to me. But I mean, hey, everybody's thought process is different, and
Yeah, and she
the
was
stuff that
moving
they.
fast too, and
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, but
I
I
mean,
don't know.
but the crazy thing about this story as well, and I brought up the fact that Tori that there was another guy who actually didn't
Oh
believe the
yes.
Gorilla Glue really stuck like that, and he thought it was a publicity stunt. Maybe a lot of people were saying maybe Gorilla Glue paid her to do this, so it brought advertising basically to their product. And there's a bunch of
Hmm.
weird stories going on, but this guy, he actually glued a red cup to his face, and he said, I don't believe it. So he glued it to his face, and literally, people, that red cup is glued to his face, and he had to go to the hospital to get it removed. And he wasn't as
You
lucky
know,
as her with the hair, because it kind of had to take a little chunk of his lip off in the process. You know what I'm saying? So people do weird
they had
stuff.
to do what? They had to
They
take his lip off?
No, a little bit, a little bit. The skin and all this stuff.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Why didn't he like try to glue it to his foot? Why did he glue it to his face?
because he didn't
She didn't glue
believe
it
in
to
it.
her face.
He didn't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? So that
Why
Gorilla
did he
Glue.
glue the dog's legs to the ground?
I don't know, but Gorilla Glue is the truth, people. So if you're not a believer in Gorilla Glue, if you
Oh
have things
my
that you need fixed
God.
around your house, I am not a spokesperson, but I am a avid user of it, so it works. Gorilla Glue works. Ask
Wow.
Tessica Brown; she'll tell
Well,
you.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Tessica, she had a GoFundMe page, and so before Dr. Obing reached out to her, which was about $23,000, and so she donated $20,000 to Dr. Obing's charity called Restore, Restor, which provide reconstructive surgery to people with deformities in developing countries.
That's
And
cool.
then with the other $3,000, she's going to help the remaining. There's three families in her community that are in need, and so she donated the $3,000. So I mean, it was a serious, funny story, but good came out of it. So
Mm.
yeah, So I mean, you just don't just pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah,
So
slow
yeah.
down, slow
Anyway,
down.
let's yeah, slow your roll, slow your roll. So, tell me what you think about Kendall Kardashian and her was it the 818 tequila,
Hold on, hold
and
on.
they're
You
saying
said it
that
wrong. You said it wrong.
is it
Her
81, is it 8
her
what
name
is it?
her name is Kendall Jenner. Don't call her Kardashian. She's
Kendall
a
Jenner.
Jenner.
Oh,
She came from
oh, did I say
Bruce.
Kardashian? I said Kendall Jenner.
Yeah, no, you
Oh,
said
Bruce.
Kardashian. She came from
Well, Bruce is,
Bruce. Yeah, we're not gonna
but
even
Bruce
talk
is
about that.
Cassie. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
not gonna even talk about that.
okay. Yeah, okay.
She, she
So, okay.
she's a
So,
Jenner, and she's resourceful, and they always have something going on to make themselves some money. So
yes.
yeah, go ahead and tell the people about it. 818.
So yeah, so she had said she had been working on this tequila for the last 4 years, and so she tweeted out to the world that her company 818 Tequila, she was excited about it, but she received a lot of backlash for cultural appropriation. Now, what cultural appropriation is when someone, it's the adoption of an element of another culture. So she is not Hispanic. And so it's almost like she was adopting that culture, like that's, through this tequila. And,
Mm.
everyone, she got a lot of backlash for that. It's like she's taken on someone else's identity, which is called, culture appropriation. And many people took to social media and they were very, very angry because she is a non-Mexican person, is what they said. She's not Mexican, but what they said is that she's profiting off of a Mexican product, with so many Mexicans relying on making and selling tequila to support their families. And so they were ticked off at her. But here's the thing. There are a lot of celebrities that made tequila, like Dwayne Johnson has, what is it, Terramana? That's tequila that he has. Nick Jonas and John Bravados, they have tequila. And before George Clooney sold his tequila,
Yeah,
sold his company, he had tequila.
yeah.
So you know, I don't honestly, I don't really follow Kendall Jenner or the Kardashians, but my opinion is that so what? It's just it's just it's just a tequila. I don't know. Do you think that she was taking away from the Mexicans that rely on selling the tequila to support their
This is just
families?
my personal opinion. In a lot of these areas, especially with alcohol, there's been a growing, a blossoming thing of, celebrities, especially, having their own drinks, whether it be a tequila, whether it be a wine, whether it be, whatever other flavor or kind of drink there is.
Alcohol,
They're in,
yeah, uh-huh.
yeah, they're in all the markets. So, to me personally, I don't see it as, I guess, an issue. The fact that she's using that because tequila is associated with Mexican culture, but it doesn't. I don't think
Yeah,
it takes away from it, because my thing is, to me,
yeah,
now I know people that drink alcohol and they're loyal. So no matter what new drink comes out, they're
yeah.
gonna still go
To that
buy
brand, yeah.
this drink or this brand.
Mhm.
So, and they've been, I mean,
Yeah.
Seagram's, as the OG say, bumpy face. Like, Seagram's has been out, just regular Seagram's gin has been out for years, and you
Mhm.
still have loyal customers who go and look for Seagram's gin.
Yeah,
So
Seagram's. Yeah,
I think if it's
exactly.
a good drink, people will gravitate to it. If not, if it's something regular, they'll probably stick with what they have. So
Mhm.
I don't see it as an issue, me personally. That would be kind of like, when they say a white artist comes into hip hop, and it's
Right.
a problem because it's cultural appropriation, because it's a hip hop is traditionally a black form of music.
Right.
But if that artist
Right.
is not
Exactly.
coming in saying that, trying to act a certain way, or trying to, do something that they're not, what I'm saying? If she just has a tequila and she's not, bringing it, now I can understand if she was advertising and she had, Mexicans or people who acting like Mexicans in the commercial or the advertisement or something like that, then yeah. But I mean, just having the actual drink itself, nah,
Yeah.
I don't see it as
Yeah.
an issue.
And and they were also, well, on social media, they were also upset with her apparent lack of tequila knowledge, and um, and I guess that led to some people criticizing her because she didn't have any tequila knowledge. That's what
She's
they
the
said.
face.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
she's
you
the
go to social
face.
media, and that's what they say.
Yeah,
Exactly. She's the face of a lot of brands, so
yeah.
she probably made the tequila and made it for her taste, and then now she's like, okay, now you go sell it and do what you have
She
to do.
she might not
So
even drink tequila.
it's
She might not even drink it.
you
It's just
know,
something that she can make money
it's
off
just,
of.
yeah, something,
And
yeah,
if you look at the history of the
exactly,
Kardashians and their mom and the way she has, kind of trained her kids, they are, they capitalize off opportunities that's presented to them. Whether they might look like something
exactly,
that's good for us, we might look at it and say, well, we wouldn't do that. Well, they're presented with a lot of
right,
opportunities to be the face of something, and that doesn't require them to actually do the work. They just have to look pretty, take a
yeah,
couple of pictures, and attach
yeah.
their name to it.
That's the
So I
ambassador. They're the ambassadors of that brand, So
and I think
you
that's what
know,
happened here.
yeah, but it's like you said, there's plenty of tequila brands out there owned by Mexican distillers that are making excellent spirits.
Yep.
So she just happens to not be Mexican, and she jumped on a tequila bandwagon like every other celebrity. And to me, it's only a hot topic because they included the cultural appropriation. Other than that, it's like, and it's Kendall Jenner. So it's
Yeah.
like I wanted to
Facts.
kind of get your opinion on that. Yeah, exactly. It's not. People are making tequila all the time. It's not going to go away. It is what it is. And and I think, speaking of celebrities, before we came on, you were telling me something about Cam Newton, that
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Cam.
about. And I'm a football head. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, Cam Newton was hosting a camp lately. I think this past weekend, and a lot of these camps and a lot of these 7-on-7 tournaments and things of that nature, they have a bunch of different teams come out and compete. A bunch of high highly ranked football players. These young high school guys come out and they compete. So one of the I didn't see, they didn't have footage of the beginning of the conversation, but the young man appears to be heckling Cam Newton, and Cam Newton responds in kind. But he doesn't use any crazy language or anything. But I'll let you all check out the video because and we'll talk about it because this is a bigger deal than some people may know.
You asked. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Your dad. You're a free agent. You asked. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop? You asked. Where's the dad?
So,
So
he what an idiot. Go ahead, Ken, because that just ticks me off. I mean, that's just stupid.
well, here's the thing. I think number one is I think a lot of these kids, because they grew up, they're growing up in a social media era where they can go online and say pretty much whatever they want to whoever they want. And you don't really see a lot of repercussions for it, or anybody doesn't really respond to it. So it's developed into them actually going out into the real world with that same mentality, thinking that they can just say whatever they want and to whoever they want, and it should be acceptable because they're a kid. And they're not expecting, a grown man or
Right.
grown woman to respond, to what they're saying. And they have to understand that I don't care who you're talking to. First of all, that's a grown man. So you have to show respect as a child talking to a grown man. And Cam can't be disrespectful. From my understanding, he wasn't disrespectful. So that wasn't the case. But they also have another video that was on Cam's page that shows after this video, and he's talking to the young man, and he's just trying to explain to the young man. He's just trying to see what's the hostility about, and trying to ask the young man, you're questioning me and what I do and who I am, but tell me about yourself. And the young
Right.
man is not
Exactly.
too happy about that, and he keeps trying to
No.
divert from answering the question. But that's
Yeah.
one thing that I've noticed in the past few years, that a lot of people's greatness of the past is being put on blast, of being questioned per se.
Hmm.
And I think this is just one of
Yeah.
those situations where these kids don't understand. They might look at Cam Newton now and say, well, he didn't have a good year this year. He was with a new team. They had pandemic, so they didn't have preseason. You didn't have training camp. So they're judging it based on that. But they don't know Cam won the Heisman. They don't know Cam was,
Yeah.
an MVP of the league. So all these accolades mean nothing to them, because they're looking at who he is right now and basing it on that.
Right. Yeah, they look at him at that moment, but then you also have to ask, where did he get all of that from? Sometimes you have, like I heard Cam in the video say, "Where's your pops? Where's your pops?" But I don't know what the kid's dad said, but a lot of times, uh, when you're watching football and you're so engrossed in the moment, you'll hear your parents say, "He sucks. No team's gonna pick him up. He about to be broke." And if your kid is looking at you, listening to you say that, of
That's
course,
true.
that's going to roll down to him. And
That's
so
true.
it's like, where do you get that from? Because, and then of course, with all the kids around him, it was another thing that they kept hyping him up a little bit, and
Of course.
so, but you have to, yeah, yeah, you got to see where some of that stuff comes from, because Cam, so although he's a free agent, that doesn't equate broke. So I don't know what this, he's not informed,
Yeah, and that's
immature, not informed,
and that's a big thing,
oh no, go
because
ahead.
no, and that's a big thing because, number one, I mean, as stated in the articles, a lot of the articles, Cam has made over $100 million in his career. I mean, he's not done playing.
Yeah,
He's a free agent, but he's definitely going to get picked up by somebody, so he's going to continue getting money.
yeah,
And a lot of these kids, they talk about a lot of these athletes, but they have access to so much information, but do so little research.
yeah,
They talk from their emotions. They talk about, of course, when you have the comparisons of guys that played, 20 years ago versus guys now, and they quick to dismiss them as, those guys were big and slow. These guys are faster,
yeah,
but they don't look at the real information, or do the research. As we say, do your Googles. Go and Google
yeah,
information about these guys. And I think this is just a situation where it got emotional, and the video
mhm,
that followed, though, I think kind of helped put a little context to it. So if you want to see that video, you can go to IG and go to Cam Newton's page, and it's on Cam Newton's page, and you can check out that video. It's a longer video. But I tell my kids all the time, especially my boys, if you don't know something, just be quiet. Don't talk out of your
yeah,
emotions,
yeah,
because,
pretty
yeah,
much, yeah,
yeah,
pretty much, because like him, end up looking like an idiot, just an idiot. And these players help. I'm sure. I'm just going to make the assumption. I'm sure he's an underprivileged kid, coming to his camp. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But my whole point is that these players take time out of their schedules to put these camps on, so that these kids can get knowledge. And
exactly.
you keep going to the camp, and you get more knowledge. You get to be around players that are where you want to be. They didn't get there by talking noise as a kid like you're doing. And I just think that this kid was extremely, he was an idiot. That's all I can say. And the thing is that these players want to help these kids. And so I am sure, no matter how much of a man Cam is, it affected him in some kind of way, because he's out there trying to help. But this kid is saying, you know you don't, you're gonna be broke, you're gonna be broke. What does that have to do with this moment that we are in right now?
Yeah.
And yeah.
A lot of these
That
kids are
was
just ungrateful, and they just have to learn how to be
yeah,
humble. So,
very.
hopefully their parents and their peers and their mentors can help them with that. So, let this be a lesson.
Yeah, that was thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
That pretty much ticked me off. So, oh, well, okay, so I mentioned Kendall Jenner earlier, and then I said Kardashian. So I want to talk about for a second Kim Kardashian because she filed for divorce from Kanye West, and I think they've been married for about 7 years, and so but they officially filed for divorce, and according to a source, they're in agreement over the joint legal and physical custody of their kids. They're not even contesting the prenup, and they're almost nearing a settlement. But you know, it's always been in the public that Kim and Kanye had different views or different ideas about how they raise their kids.
Mm.
So I am sure that was part of it. Kanye's rants was part of it. Him, his little trouble and it running for the ill, I don't know, ill-advised presidency that they kept telling him, you do not need to do this.
Yeah, I think that
But,
affected
it
her
was
too, because
just,
she I think she had mentioned
oh
that a
yeah.
few times. So
Yeah, so it's they just they had a lot of different views and opinions on a lot of things. I think the biggest thing was how they raise their kids. And I think as parents it's never about money when it comes to kids. It's all about, how we are going to raise these kids to be great, great men and great women. And nevertheless, they filed, and so but Kim Kardashian, she was out this past week, I think it was this past week. She was out with her girls, so enjoying a girls' night after filing for a divorce. I wonder if she's going to reconnect with Ray J.
no.
Because
Oh,
he's going through something too.
listen,
Remember that song? I hit it
listen.
first.
My mom always told me if you walk backwards, you're bound to fall. I don't think she'll be walking backwards. I don't think she'll be going to Ray J
It's
or
almost
Chris
like for what?
Humphreys or
Yeah,
any of
it's
these
like
people
for
that she
yeah,
dealt with before. The best thing to do for her would be find somebody that fits what she needs and who has the same ideals and who has the same, some of the similar goals or supportive of her and what she
yeah,
needs because not all situations work. Not all relationships
yeah,
work out, and I'm glad that they are in agreements with the kids. With the stuff with the kids, with the custody of the kids,
yeah,
and with they both got money. So that's the biggest
yeah,
thing too. Like there's no real grovel over the money because they both were multimillionaires before they got together. So,
yeah,
yeah, I
hmm,
mean, just go your separate ways and
yeah,
do your thing. Maybe we can get some old Kanye music back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get that
yeah,
back,
yeah.
get refocused and do,
Maybe that would
you know.
be good. But I don't listen to Kanye. So maybe those you Kanye heads, maybe y'all can. I don't even I don't care. But so yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about because I don't know, I'm sure people saw it coming because at one point Kanye was having these rants and these issues and just I think that a lot of people it became very disruptive to their family dynamic. So
True.
nevertheless, Kim Kardashian West, Kanye West, filed for divorce. So that's that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they got money. They'll be all right.
Do you remember when Kim Kardashian was dating, was it Reggie Bush?
Yep.
Yeah, Reggie, I think, yeah, Reggie Bush, and he was like pretty much, hell no, I do not want this kind of attention. He was like, peace. He was that
Yeah. I
I think
mean,
that they were on a yacht or something and he was trying to just chill and it was paparazzi everywhere. He was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a lot, and
Yeah.
I think at a point, I mean, me
Was
personally,
it Reggie Bush? Was it Reggie Bush or was it Miles Austin? One of them. I don't
oh
remember.
man,
It
it's a
it
lot
was a
of them,
football
man.
player.
It's a lot of them. I don't. Whew, don't get me started, because
Yeah,
I can't even. I lost track. I lost track
yeah,
for
I
real.
don't, I don't, yeah, I for sure don't remember. So I don't know if you guys know. Tell us. I can't remember if it was Reggie Bush, if it was Miles Austin.
I thought she was
I
with
don't
Miles
remember.
Austin too at one point. So I
Yeah,
don't
was
know.
it both of
Like,
them?
yes, I think so. I think so. It was briefly,
Wow.
but you can't date somebody of her stature and nobody know. Somebody's gonna
Yeah,
find out. Somebody's gonna see.
yeah,
Somebody's gonna,
exactly. Yeah,
see something somewhere, and they're gonna figure it out. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a long
You're right.
line of failed relationships. But hey, live your life, Kim. Live your life.
Yeah, do you, boo?
Yeah.
So anyway, I enjoyed our show, just kind of, I like that it was chill. And of course I always like having guests on the show. I do like today that it was, it was really chill. We got to talk. People, our viewers got to kind of see us just kind of have a conversation a little bit, and
Yeah.
be the funny people that we are. But we're back next week. Next week we are going to have actor, author, and motivational speaker Deo Alatokan. He's been in a couple of movies. I'm sure you guys, when we talk about you, but oh yeah, I remember Deo. He also has a new book coming out, and I did get a sneak peek of it. So
Mm.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that, and so he will be on the show next week. Yes,
Yeah.
next week he will be on the show. So remember, you can watch or catch KUTC Live on Facebook at facebook.com/KUTC Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And if you miss any episode, you can watch past episodes on Facebook. You can also go to blacklineentertainment.com and watch the show there. And of course, every week I like to end the show on a positive quote. Now, this quote, I don't know if someone sent it to me on Facebook or I saw it on Facebook, but I just it meant something to me, and it says, sometimes you have to help someone through the window so they can open the door for you. And that just, I mean, that's just a really, really good quote, because when you think about it, it reminds me, I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but it reminds me of Nelly. Remember when Nelly said, we pull the other ones up? And so that's what that quote reminds me of. It's like, sometimes you just have to, help someone so they can come back and help you. And so, but anyway, I like that quote. You like that
Yeah.
quote, Big Ken? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that sentiment. Sometimes
Hmm.
somebody else in your crew or in your circle is better suited to be successful at something at a certain time, and it's just not your turn yet. You know what I'm saying? So you can help
Hmm.
that person elevate, and that person will in turn come back and pull you up. So that's definitely
Yeah.
a good sentiment, and I hope more people will gravitate to that and just be
Yeah.
patient and wait their turn.
All right. So that's the show. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next week. Until next time.
Make sure you keep up the conversation. Peace.
Peace.
Follow Keeping Up the Conversation on Facebook at KUTC Live.